Today we're going to talk about some of the major takeaways from One Piece chapter 1067 that you may not have noticed or maybe you don't understand. And the first thing we're going to get into is Judge and Caesar's reaction. Now this is from the cover page, but the reaction from Judge and Caesar, it may seem a bit odd and out of place considering what we think we know about this duo. But the more you look into it, the more it makes sense, right? Because Mads was a team consisting of Vegapunk, Caesar, Judge, and Queen. I nominate them for the strangest looking group in One Piece next to Buggy's crew and Foxy's, but they were in cahoots. They were notable enough for the world government to disband them officially while having them be absorbed into the government to continue to work on things, but off the record, kinda, in the science division. Now, the two major names, or the big dogs of Mads, seem to be Judge and Vegapunk. And those two made major breakthroughs in the form of lineage factors and cloning, including accelerated growth, and Vegapunk made strides as well in everything. The two most notable inventions for both would be for Vegapunk, creating an almost perfect replica of Kaido's devil fruit using his lineage factor, and for Judge, well, his children. That sounds crazy, but yes, his children. Although both breakthroughs had flaws, like Momonosuke being pink and Judge's children missing a few screws, the breakthroughs were successful. Now Caesar, even though he made a breakthrough with SAD and creating Smile Devil Fruits, he was the little bro, as this is just somewhat combining Vegapunk's breakthrough of the artificial devil fruits and Judge's of the lineage factor. So for little bro Caesar, he holds some disdain for them both for a couple reasons, not just being little bro. One, he was removed from Vegapunk's team after he was told to quit making a murder gas weapon, and he didn't stop, and so Vegapunk let him go, and in turn, he blew up the lab. His disdain for Judge was shown all the way back in Whole Cake Island. Now in chapter 870, after the whole "you're not my dad" thing between Judge and Sanji, Caesar was supposed to fly Capone to safety, and Judge was supposed to protect him while they do that. Judge does address Caesar by name, but didn't give a hint of familiarity, and Caesar, on the other hand, after his remarks, said that Judge never really changed. This is before the confirmation of them working together, but the meeting in the cover story is years of buildup, years of disdain, more so on Caesar's end, and Judge, well, he's being an asshole as he normally is. Next, Vegapunk's no me. Yes, this devil fruit seems to be overpowered and maybe a bit too much for the world's most brilliant scientist, but it fits perfectly. You see, something in particular about someone like even Caesar is that because of his scientific knowledge, he was able to take the Gasu Gasu no Mi to new heights. Vegapunk's no me fruit is the same way as he is the perfect person, always searching for knowledge, and I'm sure back then a new barber, he's able to take it to new heights. Now, the no me provides Vegapunk with unlimited memory, which allows him to both memorize an unlimited amount of knowledge. Well, his brain grows as he gets more information, so unlimited then becomes limited if you apply the standard way it should be used, as the head would be too big to just walk around with, or do anything for that fact, and so he cut it off. With what? The speculation is Law's fruit, but with a brainiac like this, I don't think he's limited by the workings of magic rooms. He can do shambles all by himself. So again, while analyzing this fruit, I thought of the negatives of this fruit because the positives are very apparent. Okay, no app for grocery lists. I can remember all my friends' birthdays and my keys. I never lose my keys or my remote. No need for Google Maps. I mean, the list is vast. The negatives, well, I remember everything. Let me ask you guys, have you ever seen a movie or image or clip that you'd much rather forget, and in time you do? Well, with this, you won't. It's with you forever. That's scary. All this information is memorized. Now, it is not stated if you can choose not to retain information, so this is an assumption, but that would suck, right? This does bring up the question of devil fruits and their potential and even awakenings being tied to the expertise of the user. For instance, a stripper with Khalifa's fruit, or a sip and paint artist with Jola's fruit. The best example I could have gone with there was Law with his, but no, we go against the grain into the safari. Anyway. Next thing, the subscribe button. Okay, yeah. Maybe you saw that coming, maybe you didn't. Either way, you may have been watching a few videos. If you haven't realized you're not subscribed, take the time out, subscribe, drop a like. But now, to the Veganet. Vegapunk has the grandiose idea to create something like the internet or Neuralink, where everyone's brain is connected and constantly updating the library like his clones do on a daily basis. Now, I believe Vegapunk means literally, but I don't think we ever get there, so we're probably just gonna have to go with the Veganet. Now, Jinbei's asking all the right questions, because he worries about the possible trolls that may be afoot, as now everyone would be sharing knowledge and conflicting ideals would run amok. Naturally, humanity sharing one mind would be great for the medical field and the growth with cuisine and travel and even danger. But what about religious beliefs? weaponry. The ability to communicate may be easier with the trade and the underground, but the major detriment to what Luffy would want is the issue of adventure. With this hive mind or internet that Vegapunk would create, the idea of exploration and traversing the great unknowns would likely be gone forever. The routes would be mapped through the sharing of information, and the bodegas and corner stores would be well known. No secret sale on Vega patties because everyone would know. Would simple things like that be a detriment to shared information? Not really, as it wouldn't benefit the world government as well. Information for them is something that's best kept away from the masses, okay? The union of Vegapunk and the world government based on his ideal and somewhat his massive dream was a disaster from the beginning. Bonnie's relevance. Now, Bonnie's a very tricky plot point, and she has been shrouded in mystery and pizza ever since her introduction. We cannot forget the interaction with Akainu, saying that they were scared that they thought they had lost her, so she was captured by Akainu, and based off of this chapter, they accomplished their goal and used her for what they wanted. I mean, this arc is making it more and more clear to understand that Bonnie has been experimented with, and her lineage factor may have been used, and more than likely was, to enhance the Seraphim. Now, a notable trait of the Seraphim is that they are the younger versions of their clones, but the same size as them. Bonnie's fruit may have been experimented on to create a stasis for the Seraphim to continuously give them room and time to grow. With unlimited time, which could be quickened or lessened through Bonnie's devil fruit, they could develop rapidly while keeping them younger with much more room to grow. Rob Lucci's comments are anything but cryptic, stating that they got what they wanted from Bonnie, and also we cannot forget Vegapunk. He mentions doing something terrible to Bonnie, and if they did harness her devil fruit, he must have been the person in charge of it. But what could this thing be he would have to return? Possibly her memories, or maybe her dad. Now, CP0, seeing Rob Lucci and the gang here minus Jobber because he's apparently now a random smile user on Kaido's crew, not confirmed, parody account. It feels good. Yes, this arc feels like Punk Hazard with inklings of Water 7 and Zoe. Having a major antagonist return to probably be another major antagonist makes my lip quiver because it gives me warm hope that one day Doflamingo and Katakuri will make their triumphant returns, riding Zunisha in all their glory. Maybe that's a bit too far, but this is somewhat major, but then it isn't. This arc isn't about CP0 necessarily. Yes, they are here to destroy Vegapunk, but at the perfect time, Vegapunk and his crew, they decide to rebel. Now, this isn't a question about Luffy versus Lucci like we once thought, as these two, they've already had their moment. This is about Rob Lucci versus Usopp and him talking shit about our crew member. No, I kid, because Rob Lucci has grown ever since Enies Lobby. The promotion is the obvious thing here, and him being a masked agent makes him one of the stronger ones, but also his cover story. There have been inklings of growth in Rob Lucci's speech ever since the Reverie, but the cover story showed the fall of this group, and even with the trials and tribulations while being chased by the world government, they were still monsters. They even threatened Spandam, so they're kings in my book. They have obviously progressed, but this seems like a situation where the Seraphim may pose the greater threat. Rob Lucci versus Luffy, even though he's grown and it would be hype and epic, would still be, in my opinion, in Luffy's favor because he's the sun god, he's Joy Boy, he's just that guy. But like Punk Hazard, through interesting means, Luffy will not fight Rob Lucci, as it seems a bit repetitive. What's interesting though is Usopp doing something here, even Zoro, but this is the true showcase for the Seraphim, I think. Kuma's instinct. Now, at the beginning of the arc, we were told that even modified creations are inherently liable to succumb to their base desires, meaning a snake is gonna snake. Throughout Egghead, we have been given interesting perspectives on Kuma, and even before with Sabo and Koala. Kuma has always been a big teddy bear for most, but a tyrant for some. Again, perception is not reality, as I always preach on this channel, but Kuma in this instance is reacting instinctively because he's worried about his daughter. This could be a link between Seraphim Kuma, as Rob Lucci has confirmed her elimination, or a link with Vegapunk, as they have declared war on the world government. The inevitability of a Kuma, Vegapunk, Straw Hat, and Dragon link up versus CP0, and even the world government has me excited because this may lead to super answers about these characters that we can't even fathom. Dragon, if he somehow follows or goes with Kuma, will end up in Egghead, and I would love a Luffy reunion in this setting. I loved at the end where the three members who created the revolutionaries are shown together in a much different circumstance from when they started, but maybe this is all Dragon's idea, but I have a feeling Kuma is the mastermind behind this one. The idea being Kuma being sacrificed for the greater good. Dragon doesn't seem one to be willing to sacrifice a single individual, but Kuma, however, even while having the Bible, may have to atone for something. Is he truly a tyrant? 200 years. The major takeaway is everything's talking about this power source. Now, Enies Lobby being daytime all the time comes to mind, as well as the Lunarians and their flame, also considering they lived atop the red line. 200 years is significant, as it's the first time the fishmen were given rights, and then we have the robot climbing the red line the same way Fisher Tiger did. It's more so reverse, as Fisher Tiger did it after, but you catch my drift. This power source could be something simple like Cola, or an engineering marvel like a created sun, or maybe a supernatural thing like an eternal flame like Amaterasu. Zetsu. That's Naruto. We're at a major tipping point in the story where things could go in so many different ways, but Oda is on a roll and this arc is full steam ahead. Guys, if you'd like more information on the 200 years and just a quick breakdown in regards to that, you can click on the video on your screen, but also make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.